everyone. Hope you enjoyed your week off from me last week while I was away. We're back on it today though, and today is flexibility. So when we normally focus on flexibility in these online sessions and in class, the muscle group that I tend to focus on the most in the lower limb, is our hamstrings, which are these muscles, and into our lower back. And that's great because a lot of you are tight there, but probably an equal number of us are tight across the front of our hips. So when I normally say to you, when we're doing hamstrings, that having tight hamstrings can pull you into this kind of position and put quite a lot of pressure on your lower back. The same is true if you have really tight quads and hip flexors just here. So if you have tight hip flexors, you will tend to be in this position. So again, you're having quite a big arch of your back. This is short here, and this can again cause lower back pain, just like having tight hamstrings can. We do stretch our quads out, but we don't tend to do a lot around our hip flexors. So we're going to do that today as a little bit of a change. So some of the exercises, yes, they're Pilates exercises, but then probably equally, we're probably going to do quite a few stretches today rather than kind of our tummy-based Pilates exercises. And all the exercises we do really are going to be stretching these muscles here. So as a result of that, we'll be using our bums at the same time. So although it's a flexibility class today, we will be using our bums quite a lot too, just because that's the position we need to get into to stretch our hip flexors. So we're going to get a little bit warm to begin with, and I just want to get some mobility around our hips to begin. So you're going to have your hands on your hips, make sure you've got a good base of support, your normal rest position, and we're just going to do some pelvic tilts. Now when we do glute sessions, I tell you to hold position where we're tucked under. Today, I want you to just hold that position where we're back. And for lots of us, including me, this isn't very comfortable. And then come back into that position. Now the reason this isn't comfortable for me is because I'm not normally in this position. My hamstrings and glutes are tight, so I'm normally tucked underneath. If you have quite tight quads, you will probably prefer this position. Good, so we're going to keep having a little tuck and then come out and hold, and then a tuck underneath and hold, and we're going to do one more. Good, and that's the last one. Nice, good. So we want to stretch a nice warm muscle across the front of our legs. So we're going to go into some squats now just to warm them up slightly. So have your feet in a good rest position. You're going to come down into your squat and then back up. And the reason I say your squat is because everyone will be going down at a different depth, and that is absolutely fine. So you're not going to be going down too far if you know you can't get up well or if it's uncomfortable. Good. A few more squats. Good. Right then, let's just do 3 more. Last one. Good. We're now going to do some alternating rear lunge, again, just to warm our quads up and our bums. So standing on your mat, you're going to step back. If you can, your knee is going to go to the floor. If not, don't worry at this point. Then you're going to push back up and then back with the other leg. And we're going to keep repeating. Good, so make sure you're nice and controlled on the way down. Good, last one. Now come back to standing. We're now all going to go down onto one leg. Okay, and then you're just going to squeeze your bum muscles and drive your hips forward. So rather than be in this position here, we're going to bring our hips forward. You should be able to feel a stretch down the front of your leg. Now some of you might feel it up here a little bit as well. And that's because one of our hip flexors actually attaches into our spine. So it goes all the way up, and sometimes you can feel some tightness in your tummy as well. Good, then you're going to change over to the side. Good. Now, when we're doing a lot of these exercises today, yes, it's flexibility, you won't necessarily feel a stretch in that muscle, but we're working into a range where if you were tight, that's the way you would feel it. So it's trying to keep you nice and mobile in that position. So don't worry, if I say you might feel a stretch here, if you don't feel it, that's okay. We're still working into a position where we're encouraging flexibility in that muscle group. Good? Great, and then you're going to come down to the mat. So, I should have said at the start, all we need today is a mat and a little pillow. That's all you need. So we're going to come down to begin with, and we're going to go into shoulder bridge. Now, shoulder bridge, I know, is a glute exercise, but it's also a great stretching exercise for our quads. So get your heels nice and close to your bottom. Roll up into your up position, like glute bridge, and then roll back down. Still taking time to work on that lower back mobility and flexibility. Good, and then back down. Well, at some point soon I'm going to have to turn the heating down because I think I've put the radiator on 5 and I'm starting to melt. And I haven't even started really yet. We'll see how I get on. Good, right, we're going to do one more at your normal height. And again, don't worry if you're not as high as you think you should be. You're still going to be having a stretch for you. Good, on your next one though, I don't mind which height you're at, but now you're going to go up a tiny little bit more. So when you go up to what you think is your height, you're going to squeeze your bum to increase that height slightly. And then you're going to roll back down. Now don't increase that height too much that you feel it in your lower back. You should feel it in the front of your hips if anywhere. So again, up to your normal level and then squeeze up. I feel it here. Tight all into my hip flexors. And then back down. Good. And again. Bridge. Squeeze up. Good. And then back down. Let's just do 2 more of these. So up to your height, squeeze up higher, and then back down. 2 left. I think I said 3. Good. Last one. Nice job, good. And then all the way down. Good. So we're now going to go into shoulder bridge level 2, only for a short time. This is a warm-up exercise for the next one. So you're going to come up, one leg's going to outstretch, it's then going to come back down with control. That was very control, I apologise. And then come back up with the other one. That was better. And then roll down in between each one. Good, so in a moment when we just warmed up our glute med exercises to help us to stabilise, we're going to go into some flexibility work for our front of our hips. Some of you will find this easy, some of you will find this quite tricky. So just go to your position. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do, like we normally do level 4, is we're going to go up into our shoulder bridge, straighten one leg out, and we normally lift our leg up. We're going to go down with it. So we've done this before in class. You're going to come up, you're going to stretch one leg out, keeping your hips high, so I like to put my hands on my hips. Keep your hips driving up towards the ceiling as you lower one leg down, bring it back up, and then over and down to the other side. Okay, so, and again, you're going to come up, you're going to go out, keep your hips high, as you take that leg down to the floor, only as far as you can go without your hips dropping. So you might not go very far, and then back down. So I'll just show you an example, if you're not going down as far, what it will look like. You'll come up, keep repeating those of you that are quite happy. Bring your hips forward, it might only come to there, before you have to come back to that position, and then roll back down. That is fine. Okay, and again, alternating legs, keeping those hips really nice and high. Don't start to let them sag. If they're sagging, it's just a little bit too hard. Good, keep going. Good. Let's just do one more on each leg then. This can start to make your lower back feel a little bit pinchy and a little bit overworked. So we've got one left, and then we're going to go into hip twist level 2. A as a stretch for our front of our hips, and B just for some back mobility. Good, well done. Hands out to the side now. We're going to go to hip twist level 2. So we're going to take our knees and our feet one way, turn your head the opposite direction, and then use your abdominals to bring yourself back up, and then to the other side. Good job. Keep repeating. I went out for lunch today. It was so nice. I haven't been to Fika for ages. So nice. I had the dish I had is called the Scandi Woodland, and it was sourdough toast with avocado on it, tomatoes, loads and loads of mushrooms, which were absolutely delicious. Kind of like dried, fried, I don't know any way you can describe it, like onions on top, just sprinkled on, and some chilli. Oh, it was so good. And some sort of delicious relish that I don't even know what that was. Oh, and a poached egg. Oh, it was so good. So I had that at 12 o'clock, I had an early lunch. And I'm still stuffed. I brought some lunch with me today, forgetting that I was going to Fika, which was a big bowl of mince with cheese, rice, a little bit of potato, carrots, basically leftovers from last night's tea. 2 more. And I forgot I was going out for lunch, so I had that for my breakfast. So I'm well fueled, if nothing else. I'm just absolutely stuffed. Right, this is the last one then. And I will stop talking about food, I promise. Good. Right then, we're now going to go on into side lying. So this is the position that we are normally in when we're doing our leg lifts. Okay, so it will look like this with our legs outstretched. I'm just going to come over a little bit so you can see me. So your arm will be outstretched too above you, as I haven't got room for it. So your hand is going to be in front of you. I want you to make sure that you are in a straight line and you're not kind of in this position. So the main thing I want you to think about is tucking your tailbone under. So you're activating your glutes and your lower abdominals will just come on a little bit. In this position, you definitely need your hand down. Now keep that tuck under on as you take the top leg back. Don't let your back arch, and then bring it back. Now, if you let your back arch, you're not going to feel any stretch across the front of your hip, even if you're not tight. So you're going to tuck your tailbone under, keep those hips driving forward. It feels quite stiff. Take that leg back behind you. And again, this is just stretching all those muscles at the front. Even if you can't feel it, it's still taking it into a position that encourages that flexibility. I don't mind if you have to roll forward a little bit like I am. Just want you to be taking that leg back. Okay. Keep that bum tucked under each time you take your leg back. That's the most important thing. You're going to have to stabilise quite hard. Good. We'll do 2 more on this leg. So tuck under, take your leg back. That's the opposite of when we go forward and we stretch our hamstrings. Good. Last one. Tuck under. Please, please keep tucking under. Don't let those backs arch. Good. Well done. Now in this position here, you're going to stay in this position. You're going to grab your foot on that side and you're going to come into a quad stretch. So you're bending your knee. Just hold that foot up towards you. Keep your knees together. You can take your knee back slightly, which will give you a little bit more of a stretch across the front of your hips. I know someone will probably appreciate these stretches after doing lots of legs this week. Good. And then we're going to change over to the other side. Good. Right, one side of this might feel easier than the other. Now, if you've got any lower back issues on one side, you will definitely probably, that's the wrong way to say it. You will definitely feel a difference on one side compared to the other, just because of your mobility at the moment. So, back into our side lying position. You can roll forward slightly if you want to. Most important thing again is that tuck of your pelvis under. So this is my normal position, and I'm tucking under. I'm then taking that leg back behind me with that tuck still active. Good. And then back to the start position. And again. Keep that tuck. It's really, really tempting to undo that tuck to allow your leg to go back further. That's pointless. Other than making you feel like you're really flexible when you're not. Good. And again, really focus on that tuck under. Had 3 people from my older person's rehab class today. I'm not doing the class at the moment because it's too big, but 3 of them are coming to me here to do it with me here. They were so good over lockdown, and even now they're still isolating a little bit. They've got exercise bikes, they've got a step machine, and they've just been carrying on. They've been absolutely fantastic. Good. 2 more. They put us all to shame. Tuck your bum underneath you. Well, they didn't thank me for 2 minutes of squats today, because even when I say don't go too hard, they always do. Good. That was your last one. Good. Grab on hold of that ankle now then, into that quad stretch. Take your hips forward, knee back if you can. This is the kind of stretch that we always used to do in PE, standing up, hopping around, either holding our nose or our ear for balance. Good. Right, we're going to come up now and we're going to stretch our hip flexors out in one of the stretches that we're really used to. So we're going to do our normal quad stretch. Now you need a little bit of space behind you now though on this one, because we are going to lean back if you're quite flexible. So you're going to have your right leg on top of your left, okay? You're going to bring your right leg back into your quad stretch. Now really squeeze those bum muscles. Good, and then if you need to, you can come up onto that knee. I had a good find this morning. I was looking for a pair of leggings and I found these ones that I've got on that I completely forgot I had. Now that's not a sign that I've got too many, it's just a sign that I put them at the bottom of the drawer. But yeah, I'm so pleased. And they've got a tie on the waist, which is even better. Good. So you're now going to bring that leg down. That right leg's going to stay slightly back. You're then going to come down onto your forearms, if you can, or towards that position, whilst keeping both knees down on the floor. Now, if you just drive the top hip forward a little bit, you might feel even more of a stretch in your quad. And those of you that are flexible, you can go down as far as you're able, whilst keeping both knees down, especially your right one. Please don't push down to this level if you are tight, or if you found it hard on your forearms. Good, keep those knees down, keep pushing that up through that hip, doesn't matter which position you're in, and then we're going to come back up. Now you're going to leave those legs in the position that they're in, okay, and we're now going to twist our body to the left, taking your hands round as far as you can, just to stretch out the front of that hip. Now if you need to, you can put that leg back a little bit, the right leg, and then twist around. Now some of you will feel this here. Some of you will feel it in your lower back on the left hand side as well, so don't push it. And if you can't feel it, that's fine. Really try and squeeze your bum muscles. As soon as I squeeze my bum muscles, I feel it here. Good. And then you're going to come back to the middle, nice and slowly, and we're going to change over to do it on the other side. So now your left leg's on top of your right. You're going to take your left leg back. Squeeze your bum muscles. One side might feel tighter than the other. Good. Right, now you're going to go up onto your knee if you can. If not, stay in that position. Really squeeze your bum muscles though. Good. And then come back down. Now keep that left leg where it is again. We're going to come down into our stretch. Now again, keep that knee driving forward, hip down. Come down if you can, if not it's fine. One side of me is much easier than the other. Oh, I think I might need to do this tonight. I've had lots of heavy lifts to do this week, and today's my easier day. I feel a little bit battered and bruised, so this is actually really nice. I'm quite glad it's flexibility week. Good. Okay, we're now going to come up out of that whatever position you've been in. Bring that leg slightly back, that's the left leg, and then you're going to twist your body round to the right. Now I said, some of you won't feel this stretch, some of you will feel it in slightly different places as well. If you can't feel it, it's fine. Like I said, we're still encouraging that mobility. I can feel this one a lot. Now don't push it if you feel it in the right side of your lower back. Good, well done. Try a little bit more. Good. Okay, we're going to go into doing a little bit of strength work now again, but again it's a position that's going to increase your flexibility of your quads or help them to become more flexible. So we're going to do leg pull in supine, which I know you all love, and we have done quite recently actually, so you should all be good at it. So for this one, we're going to have our hands, you can see, level with my shoulders and turned out to the side. We're going to have our legs straight and we're going to lift up through our hips into this position. Now I want you to hold your head in a neutral position, kind of looking forward. I don't want you to throw it back. So slightly up, kind of, I'm looking at in the corner of the room now, where the ceiling meets the wall. Good, and then you're going to come back down. Good, so again, this is a bum strengthening exercise, but it's also a quad flexibility exercise. And again. I think it's quite nice doing kind of more stretchy stuff in our online videos, because it's the kind of stuff that you don't really do at home. And again, other classes you go to for your fitness or running or walking or cycling, but actually I think we forget about the flexibility aspect of us quite often, and sometimes it's the most important. Good. Okay, 2 more. We're doing nice long holds today, if you hadn't already realised. Keep those hips high, don't let them drop. Good. I'm actually boiling now. We've got 1 more. Good. Good job. Okay, so we're now going to go into some overhead reach. Now, we're going to do overhead reach today, but we're going to do it in a different position. We're going to do it in our lunge position. So, you're going to have your pillow underneath your knee, just to pad it a little bit, and we're going to be in this position here, okay? From here, as we lift our arms up, we're going to put, the other leg first, we're going to put quite a lot of a stretch down the inside, down the front of our hip, okay? So, we're going to have our our left foot forwards first, okay? Right leg back onto the pillow. From here, I want you to get into a position where you can feel a slight stretch across the front of your hip. Now from there, keeping your balance, you're going to bring your arms straight up, warrior. Good, and then you're going to bring your hands down. So we're doing our overhead reach, still thinking about our ribs, but in this position. Now each time you lift your arms up, I want you to think about driving your right hip forward. And you'll feel a little bit more of a stretch. So drive it forward, squeeze your bum, whichever is the best cue for you. I like drive your hip forward really. Good, keep going. So it is overhead reach, make sure those arms are still going all the way up overhead and they're not starting to wing out to the side. Good, we'll do 1 more. Those of you that don't like being on your knee, pad it out a little bit more maybe. Well done. Good. Right, let's change it. Actually, no, we're not going to change over. We're now going to keep our left leg forward. Okay, our left hand is going to come down to our left foot. We're then going to open up into like an arm opening. Some of you will feel this into your right side, some of you will feel it into your left adductor. Good, and then you're going to come back down. And again. To get a bit of an extra stretch in. I feel it in my left adductor the most. Good. Let's do one more. Good. Now we can switch over legs. So the right leg's now going to come forward. We're going to go into that overhead reach. Now before you start the overhead reach, get into a position where you can feel a slight stretch. Drive those hips forwards. Good. Now because this is a flexibility session and we're doing lots and lots of stretches, we don't need to have a cool down for this one. This is basically our cool down now. So because this isn't like a heavy muscle activation session and more flexibility and stretching, this is quite a nice one to add on to another class that we've done online. So it might be, I wouldn't do it with glutes because you'll be using your glutes quite a lot, but it might be a nice one after abs because we tend to use our hip flexors quite a lot for that one. Good. If you do an ab session and then this would go really well together. Good, well done. Keep those arms going up. Drive that hip forward every time you lift your arms. We've got 2 left. This is a really nice stretch. It's a really nice one to do. And like I said, pad your knee. If that's the limiting factor of how long you can stay here, just pad that knee as much as you want to. Last one. Good. Bring that right hand out next to your right foot. We're going to open up with our left hand. Again, you might feel it in your hip or you might feel it in your right adductor, so the inside of your thigh. Bit of a balance exercise as well, this one. And again. Nice big open. Good. Again. Good. Last one. Good. And come out of it nicely. Well done, everyone. Good. So that's flexibility week. Like I said, it's good as a standalone one if you are tight across your hips, but I would probably tag this one onto the end of another class. And like I say, abs is a really good bet. So next week is balance and stability on this class. That's coming up to the 5th one of this block. So I will see you again next week for balance and stability. Take care till then.